In the previous video, we have seen how to sell products with Odoo point of sale quickly and simply. In this video, we are going to see more advanced features of the Odoo point of sale app. First, I'm going to show you how to create an invoice in case your B2B customers ask you for one. Then, I'm going to show you how to actually manage a refund in Odoo. And then we'll see how to use price lists to apply seasonal discounts in your shop. I want to show you how to handle the case where a B2B customer enters in your shop, buys some things, and asks for an invoice. So first of all, you need to create the customer in the Odoo database beforehand. So let's create a famous company, Agrolay. Let's take is a company and add a picture. Okay, we can save this. First of all, I need to check the configuration of my point of sale. Let's go back to my cashier desk, click Edit, and check that invoicing is ticked here. It's ticked. This means that if someone buys something at the cashier desk, I can actually issue an invoice for him. So let's open a new session. And Agrolay is entering into my shop. He wants to buy a few apple juice bottles. And so far, Odoo doesn't know yet that Agrolay is the customer of the current order. I need to specify it. So if Agrolay has a EAN barcode, I can scan it and Odoo will recognize that Agrolay is the customer. Otherwise, I can just click here on unknown customer, search for Agrolay in the list or here, and click on it. Then I have the information about Agrolay and I can click set customer, and Agrolay is identified as the customer of my order. So he decides to pay by cash. And I can issue an invoice through the front-end interface. I can click here. And I can actually print it right away. If I close the front end now, and I go back to my accounting menu, in the backend, I'll see that there is an invoice for Agrolay. It's open, you see? Then I can go back to the point of sale and resume my session, which will reopen the front end. An important concept to grasp regarding the point of sale is the difference between opening a session and opening the front end. Opening a session is what you do in the morning when you open your shop. You open your cash register and you open the session. So this is a session that will probably last for the whole day if you sell during the whole day, and then you open the front end in order to be able to sell. During the day and during the session, you can actually close the front end in order to perform some actions in the back end. Let's do that. Let's click on close, confirm. I'm closing the front end, but I'm not closing the session. So I can go to accounting, to the settings, whatever, and then I can resume my session by reopening the front end. I will only close the session at the end of the day. That's it for the difference between the front end and the session. What I want to show you now is that you don't have to issue the invoice for the customer right away. For example, let's say that someone from Agrolay comes into my shop, buys some apple juice, and then leaves the shop. So fine, but I don't know that this guy was an employee of Agrolay, so I didn't specify that it was Agrolay. And then he comes back a few minutes later. Oh, I forgot to tell you I'm from Agrolay, I do want an invoice. So that's fine. Let's simulate this case. Someone enters into my shop, buys some apple juice, pay by cash with a note of $20, validate, without printing an invoice, right? It just prints a ticket. And I clicked on next order to actually finish the order. I didn't know it was someone from Agrolé, and this person didn't ask for an invoice. But now he comes back and wants an invoice. Okay, then I need to close the front end, which doesn't close the session, as I just explained. I can go back to the list of orders, and I find this order, main 008. So this person just bought 6 bottles of apple juice. How to issue an invoice from this order? I can try to click invoice, but Odoo won't let me because I cannot invoice no one and there is no customer on this order. So let's try. Please provide a partner for the sale. So actually I need to define that the customer of my order is Agrolé. Then I can click invoice, which will actually generate a new invoice for Agrolé. Okay? Now it's time to close the session. I still see the summary per payment methods, etc. And I can validate closing and post the entries. Now my session is closed. My second invoice was in draft state, as you can see here. So let me validate it so that I can actually reconcile the payment that Agrolé did through the point of sale and my two invoices. So I can just go to manual reconciliation here. I can just match the invoices and the corresponding payments. So this first invoice of $49.95 matches this payment of $15 and the return of 5 cents. Reconcile them. You'll have more information about the reconciliation process in the accounting training module, of course. And then I can reconcile my second invoice with the payment of $20 and the return of $2.06. Let's click reconcile so that my invoices are paid. A few days later, in the morning, I open my session. I start selling a few beers. Anyway, the customer pays by cash. That's not really important for this example. I'm just performing a sales. And then the employee of Agrolé comes back into my shop. He didn't like the last bottle of apple juice. He wants to return it and he wants to get a refund. So how can I manage that in Odoo? I can close the front end while staying into my session. I can find the order where I sold him this apple juice. I think it was here. And I can actually return some products. So out of the 6 he bought, he wants to return 1. So I can edit, and the quantity would be -1. And I can refund him. So $2.99, that's what he paid. And the payment is done. If now I close my session, and the refund is included in the summary of my session. The last topic of this video is how to apply a seasonal discount on the products in your shop. To do that, you need to go to the point of sale configuration and you can select a price list. You'll learn all you need to know about the configuration of price lists in the sales module. So here I already created the price list and I can only select the one that I created, which gives 10% discounts on all products. I save this point of sale configuration and if I want to open a new session, in my point of sale, I'll see that my apple juice does not cost $2.99 anymore, it costs $2.69. That's how you apply a price list on a point of sale.